More to the game. I know it's been a long wait. I have not been dropping like I want to, but now I'm settled into my new spot. I got my podcast stuff, my tripods and everything, so I can start dropping content every week. So I appreciate y'all for still rocking with me, the ones that are, and we finna take off even further. But today we gotta start it off with a bang and talk about Coach Bobby White. Coach Bobby, he was awful. When I say I might have had the worst coach tactically in terms of, systems with Coach Felipe. But in terms of running a team, like being professional, organized, knowing what the you're doing, Coach Bobby had no clue. And I think he was on cocaine. I am not saying that he was. Allegedly, there was this interview he had, and people felt like he was on something. So Coach Bobby maybe needs a pass because he's a drug addict and he needs help. But we have to expose him today. Coach Bobby White was an old coach, but he didn't know what he was doing. When he was coaching, the league was terrible. Now, there are some leagues where all you need is some good imports and you just let them, hoop and that's it. Low level, just bring in some Americans to say today. There are leagues like that. I played in a league like that before. But the league that I was in at this time, because this was years ago, it was not like that. It was much better than what it was much better than what Coach Bobby remembered. So let's talk about the very first meeting I had with Coach Bobby. So Coach Bobby, I didn't learn this until later, he didn't like white guys. And he himself was a white guy. So he fired all the white guys except for a couple. And he brought in all black guys. And luckily I'm black, so he didn't fire me. And it was a very interesting meeting. He was very no nonsense, all like this. I felt like I was in a meeting to sign up for the military. Like him and his assistant in there, very short to the point, matter of fact. And we get to practice, and first practice, we playing ones, like king of the court, what? So his whole philosophy was just, make sure you guys are ready to play, your game, feeling a good rhythm to go out there and hoop, because back when he was coaching, that's all they did. They just went out there and hooped. Yeah, that's ridiculous. But when he decided to install his offense, he had been out of the game a while, right? It was like 20 years between him coaching. And he decided that I'm going to send out a YouTube video on Jay Wright's Villanova offense, and that will be our offense. Yes. He sent a YouTube video, how you would scroll on YouTube and if you got the right algorithms like me, you would see a film breakdown that shows the theory behind this coach's offense or a tactic that they use. He sent that out and said, this is our offense. This is where we're running. It's going to take us all the way. Man, you gotta be kidding me. A YouTube video was our base offense. And on top of that, he asked for our inbound plays from the last coach. He said, I like what you got for your inbound plays. Let's do that. So there was nothing original about anything that he gave us to start with. He ended up adding a couple plays, but those are some really basic plays. He probably stole them from somebody or whatever. Tactically, he was challenged, to say the least. And obviously, we weren't winning games because of that. But when we did get our first win with Coach Bobby, I remember him, in the locker room yelling, happy. And it was a terrible game. Any coach that had respect for the game and his craft and coaching and how the game should be played would not have looked at that win as a pretty win, a good win. It was just a day where we made tough shots. 8 assists on 90 points type of day. Dudes just going one-on-one. We made them. So we get into the locker room, celebrate like I said, and, in between the celebration, I'm like, hey, guys, that's a good win. We finally got one, but we can't keep playing like that because that's not sustainable. It's ugly. It's terrible basketball. And Coach Bobby's like, yeah, that's not the time to discuss that. We're gonna celebrate tonight. Okay, you're supposed to be the coach and hold us to a higher standard. I guess not. And to top that off, we got a big game in a couple more days. We play a good team, and it's like a day in between the games, so we come back and we got practice. These dudes come to practice, and he didn't know anything about film. Like, most coaches they have synergy, huddle, instat, to do film breakdowns. We just turn on TV broadcasts and look at a game, watch for about 5-10 minutes. All right, that's the film. That was our film session. So we do our film session at practice that day, and they let us know they got this party that they're going to, because this is like on a Saturday. We play Friday and Sunday. They got this party they're going to tonight, this staff party, and practice over. Let's go. Let's get out of here. We gotta go. So basically, these dudes like, all right, we're finna get drunk. We'll see y'all at the game tomorrow, and we go out there and get blasted, like destroyed, embarrassing. Like people just looking around like, oh my goodness. It was never close. It was disgusting, despicable. And that was the beginning, end of Coach Bobby, because we continue to lose. We got maybe one more win with Coach Bobby. But Coach Bobby was the only one in this situation. Coach Lee John, his assistant, was cool dude, uncle, good vibes, but, gotta be a coach, This dude, this dude was just like 40-something, maybe 50-year-old guy, and I guess he had a thing for the young girls. He had this young 24-so-year-old girlfriend, and they allowed him to bring her on the bus. We had this game, we got beat, and she comes back on the bus with her. The coaches, for some reason, decide to sit in the middle. They don't sit in the front like every other coach on every other team ever created in history. They want to sit in the middle. And I'm sitting in the front, I'm not sitting back there with Coach Bobby and Coach Lee John. Come on now. And apparently, they back there giggling and laughing, hitting a vape, drinking after we lost. Like, what? This what we doing? Like, come on, man. Like, I didn't work this hard to become a professional basketball player just for this to not be professional at all. But that's what the case was. Like, wow. Oh, man. They were so unprofessional. And apparently, Coach Lee John, someone on my team knew someone that knew him, and they was like asking him back in the day, like, what do you like to get into on your off time? He's like, I like to experiment with narcotics. Apparently, he was a drug dealer, and I'm pretty sure that he was selling coke to Coach Bobby. Now, to say all that, it's to just let you know that these people were stealing money. The fact that they had that job, and luckily they ended up getting fired, but it's really crazy. He must really could talk, because this guy didn't know anything. The unprofessionalism, and there's other things that went on with like the players that I'm not even gonna speak on, but man, the fact that he was a professional basketball coach. And the kicker with him, man, I'm going to wrap it up like this. This dude had some tall tales to try to motivate her, because he had no actual tactical adjustments, like no tactics, got his offense off YouTube and stole the last coach's inbound plays. He didn't know anything about basketball, anything. So this had to be Cap. I'm sorry, it had to be Cap. He said that he was coaching in Africa, and there was this bus that he was about to get on, and something was telling him not to get on that bus. And you know what? That bus blew up.